KPBS On Demand is supported by Alliance San Diego, reminding you to vote early. Return your ballot at any drop box or vote in person at any vote center. And remember, you have the right to vote as long as you're in line on Election Day by 8 p.m. Visit alliancesd.org for more.
Welcome in San Diego, it's Jade Hindmon. On today's show, the founder of AAPI Emerging Artist, Hamsa Faye, talks about her approach to performing. This is KPBS Midday Edition, connecting our communities through conversation. All throughout Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we've been celebrating the trailblazers who make San Diego. One of those creative forces is Hamsa Faye. She's a Vietnamese-American artist and curator. She also founded the AAPI Emerging Artist Fellowship, which supports the work and visibility of the Asian and Pacific Islander creatives. Hamsa joins me now in studio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
So glad to have you here. So now you take an interdisciplinary approach to art with a focus on movement and the body. To someone who might be unfamiliar with performance art in that way, how would you describe it?
We can envision performance art as a lens into a contemporary context, meaning a non-commercial context. And for me, I see performance art as using the body, space, time, the audience as the medium. But in my practice, I offer something called expanded performance. I wonder how the body can move beyond the usual stage or place. But what about the screen? What about pulling in co-performers? What about the environment we live on, the land we live on as co-performers? So seeing that if we have a life that is quite on screen most of the day, we are noticing we are all performing in some sort of capacity.
Now, one idea that's really at the core of your art is rematriation. What does that mean to you?
Rematriation is the core of my practice. Essentially, it is restoring reciprocal relationships. It could be through ceremony. It could be through ritual, but it's a way of guiding us back to an ancestral expression. I use this process as a way of returning my body to the land. And in doing so, I wonder how the mundane shapes my making.
Now, talk more about that. I mean, how do themes of ancestral connection and identity show up in your work? It's very interesting.
Well, I am a daughter of a nail salon worker, of a love and war child. And so my work is so inspired by feminine labor economies. And I'm constantly thinking about how feminine bodies are mediated or consumed or pushed to marginalization. And because of that, I wonder what happens when the feminine body gets to surrender on land, when she gets to rest, to be in pleasure, to be in sovereignty of her body? What shows up in that magic? And I feel right now, in times of such modern contradiction, when we see a body in rest, it reflects back this need for us to do the same.
Mm-hmm. And you originally grew up in Los Angeles, right?
818, baby.
And tell me more about your upbringing. I mean, how does your childhood in LA really inspire your art today?
I grew up in the underground music scene in Los Angeles, and so I had so much spaciousness to explore my gender, my queerness, and how my body moves ecstatically on a dance floor. And that really propelled me into using my body as an instrument, a conduit. I consecrate my body to my work as an act of prayer. And I strongly believe that right now, artists create for prayer.
Mm-hmm. So how did you end up in San Diego? How did that lead you here?
I went to UC San Diego. I graduated in the visual arts department in 2014. I studied abroad in South Korea and in France as well. And I've had this really intense on again, off again relationship with San Diego for the last 10 years. But for the last, since 2019, I've been here really in devotion to my practice, the practice of animism.
So you consider San Diego your artistic home. What about our region really inspires you?
This is such a lovely question. When getting to know someone, the first question to ask is, what ocean did you grow up by? And I'm a being who grew up on the Pacific Ocean, but staying in San Diego, the coastlines, it's my heart, my soul. I am there 3-4 times a week, and these coastlines have become part of my work. It's really interesting when you mediate the body, but then you also mediate an environment. And then folks are like, wow, that's the place I live. Maybe it changes in a way. Maybe it distorts through the screen or through a video or through a film.
Interesting. I mean, you mentioned, animism earlier. How else does spirituality really inspire you? I mean, how important is that in your work?
I feel like my work is the intersection of art, technology, and spirituality. There is such a unstable binary between nature and technology right now, right? In the age of AI. And I'm wondering, how does the body and spirituality bridge those two binaries? My work, my life's purpose is to understand the gray areas, the liminal spaces, the in-betweenness of things, and trying to build tension with my audiences in throwing a monkey wrench into their consciousness and asking, well, what makes you uncomfortable here? Is it the body? Is it the technology? Is it the land?
Mm-hmm. Does that sort of confluence exist with spirituality and religion as well? Do you see it that way?
I think defining animism would be a really powerful notion. It's this philosophy and practice of acknowledging the spirit of everything in the inanimate and the animate. I grew up in a Buddhist household, cleaning our ancestral altar every week. And so having a connection to something greater has always been a part of my life. But when integrating that into my practice, I want my works to reflect that society is moving through this spiritual amnesia, this sense of forgetting who we are, the land that we live on, the people we come from. And if art can help us remember that, then maybe we can propel to a sort of futurism.
Mm-hmm. And something you're very intentional about is showing how different identities intersect too, like specifically queer, transgender, and Asian American identity. How do you explore that in your art?
Gosh, as someone who's queer and trans and Vietnamese, but also with French blood, there's so many different DNA portals that I can go into. I have my queer trans lineage, the complex lineages of trans women before me who have paved the way for me to sit right here and use my voice and express myself to you all. But then I also have the Vietnamese women in my lineage who are constantly reminding me of the privilege of being alive in America.
Well, you founded the Emerging Artist Fellowship through Viet Voices, which is a local nonprofit. What drove you to want to create that fellowship?
Well, if San Diego becomes a cultural hub for art, why not see the intersection of Asianity and queerness as a way to cultivate the soil of San Diego's art culture and ecosystem? And so this year, we will have another exhibition called Erotic, as a play on the word erotic, based on Audre Lorde's philosophy of uses of the erotic, as a way of understanding the intelligence of our body and our art more than flesh, more than sexuality, but it's a way of reclaiming aliveness within this era of amnesia.
Mm-hmm. We're speaking amid, these looming cuts to the city's arts budget. What are your thoughts on the landscape for local artists today?
Artists, stay in your studio and continue making work, because as artists, we are also organizers, we are also activists, and our art moves through the lens of protest, right? Praying is radical, creating is radical. Even with budget cuts, we will continue to produce moments for visibility, because even without funding, we still have digital systems to express ourselves. We can still gather and organize each other.
And you've really been creating those spaces for visibility. And I'm just curious, what are the continued challenges for newer AAPI artists today?
I feel like there are grand politics to visibility, especially in the intersections of Asianity. I find it often that there is a pigeonholing or a fetishism of AAPI identities or queer trans identities being extracted. And how do we own our story and also allow our art to speak not just to our intersection, but to everyone?
How are you thinking about your role as artist and curator? Is that changing at all for you?
I get to be a double agent. I get to be on the organizational side and understand the bureaucracy of art. But then I also get to be the artist and kind of have that power switched experience, which is so fascinating to me. But I am still learning too. I feel pioneering performance art and new media and different expanded practices in San Diego is going to sustain the art ecosystem here.
And, how do you want to really shake up San Diego's arts ecosystem, given that's the case?
Well, our exhibition on July 11th, Aratek, we are opening the first contemporary art exhibition at A Reason to Survive that is all ages. Why do we disinclude children and mothers and parents from this experience? And if we can all inherit art in this accessible way as an intentional way of gathering, then perhaps things are changing. This isn't an exclusive club anymore.
Yeah. The fellowship is also an example of how you're building community with artists, right? I mean, why do you think community is so important?
I can give you a visualization of that importance. It's as if you're gathering at the river to talk about life, to weave, to craft, just like our ancestors did. We met somewhere and we found connection. We removed loneliness from our nervous system and we found belonging. And these simple elements of life have essentially been stolen from us. And now we get to reclaim it through art making as a container, not just a practice, but a way of living together.
In the last minute we have here, it sounds to me like joy is an important part of your practice. So how are you continuing to find joy today?
Oh my gosh, keeping my heart open, making sure that anyone I get to meet in that day is a synchronicity of love, the medium of synchronicity, meaning this is happening for a reason. This is a sign.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, this has been just a very interesting conversation. So great to have you here. I've been speaking with artist and curator Hamsa Faye. The opening showcase for the latest cohort of the AAPI Emerging Artist Fellowship will take place July 11th. Hamsa, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
That's our show for today. I'm your host, Jade Hindmon. Thanks for tuning in to Midday Edition. Be sure to have a great day on purpose, everyone.
KPBS On Demand is supported by UC San Diego's Art Power, presenting Mivos Quartet, performing the complete string quartets by Steve Reich, May 29 at UC San Diego. Tickets at artpower.ucsd.edu.